I am the kind of leader, not a good manager. I'm not a good manager at all, and I had to learn that the hard way. And so as soon as you know that that's not what you do well, find somebody who can do that. Find somebody who can do that. I knew that because the first time I had to fire somebody, it took me 2.5 hours, and at the end of the conversation, she said, "So are you firing me?" You know, it's supposed to take 8 to 10 minutes. Yeah. 2.5 hours later, I'm like, well, actually. So now that's not what I do. So finding out what it is you do, and also understanding that when you are at the lead, when you are the one who is in charge of how everything is going to happen, you only need to do what you do. And let all the other people do that, and you're going to hire the people and surround yourself with the people that you don't have to micromanage them. You don't hire them and then tell them what to do.
Say it for the people in the back. Say it for the people in the back.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Sometimes I think that people's idea of being the boss is coming up with all their ideas.
It's not.
And if you have to come up with all their ideas, you hired the wrong people.
You hired the wrong people.
You want people who contribute to the growth and the development of your company, your organization, your not-for-profit, whatever it is. You want somebody who brings in fresh ideas. You may not always do them, but you always want to hear them. And if they are not a birth canal for creative thought and innovation, then we need to shut down the hospital and start over again. Is that what you're saying?
That's exactly what I'm saying.
Chapter 3, Intention.
So the Oprah show was number one for 25 years. Nobody beat us. And I'm telling you the secret behind that. There actually is a secret. The secret is that around 1989, I'd already been on the air from 86, started in 86. Around 1989, I interviewed Ku Klux Klan, and thinking I was showing their vitriol to the world, during a commercial break, I saw them giving each other signals, and I thought inside my spirit, this isn't good. I think I am showing the world who they are, and they are using me. That's what I felt. 25 years later, I brought them back as I was ending the show, and they told me that coming on the Oprah show was the biggest platform they'd ever been on, and that they used that tape to recruit other people. So I could feel that happening during the commercial break. So I said to the producers after that show, never doing that again. Did another show where the producers were so proud, they got some fool to come on with his mistress and his wife to admit that he was having an affair. And during that show, he said on live television, he tells his wife that his mistress was pregnant. And the audience did exactly what you just did. Everybody was embarrassed for her. And I saw her face, and I felt her humiliation, and I said, that will never happen to me again. So I'm not doing that anymore. So the producer's like, well, what you want us to do? So I had read this book called Seed of the Soul by Gary Zukav, where he talked about intention being one with cause and effect, how you cannot have a cause and effect without having an intention behind the cause. So I said to the producers, from this day forward, once I understood the principle, from this day forward, we are not going to do a show unless my intention is aligned with your intention. So do not bring me an idea unless you are clear about the real intention for doing it. And if I can find a thread of truth in it, I can sit in the chair and be myself. I don't have to believe in everything that you're telling me, but if I can just find one thread of truth, that gives me a reason to sit and be myself. So let's all be intentional about why we are booking anything. And that changed everything. It changed everything. So the very first Emmy I got, I went into the green room before and I said to the woman, tell me why you're here. There's a woman who was there whose daughter had been murdered by her boyfriend. The daughter was 16 years old, pretty blonde girl, going to the perfect school, leading what they all thought was the perfect life, but the boyfriend was abusing her, and the mother didn't know. So when I went into the green room and I said to the mother, can you tell me why you came? What was your intention? She said, I came because your producers asked me to come. I said, but why did you say yes? And she said, because everybody wants to talk about the murder. Nobody wants to talk about my daughter's life. My daughter had a life. She was loved, and she had siblings who cared about her. She had family. We loved her, and all anybody wants to talk about is the murder, and why didn't I see it? I said, well, I want people to see, this is my intention. My intention is for people to see their daughter in your daughter, for people to see their own lives in your daughter's life. So every question that I ask you, I'm not asking it to be a voyeur. I'm asking it to actually exploit the life of your daughter so that people can see themselves. And I can make sure that people leave this studio and leave their television sets understanding that your daughter had a life and she was loved. And that was my first Emmy. That was my first Emmy because we were both aligned in intention. And I will tell you, whatever project, whatever opportunity comes your way, being clear about what it is you actually really want to achieve, and having everybody else in the room in alignment with that vision and how to execute that vision so that everybody is in synergetic vibration to make it, to bring it into fruition and manifestation.
I'm glad you said that. So many good things came out of that, and how you make decisions and how that process is. I think a lot of businesses fail because we don't know how to make good decisions.
Yes.
And if we don't make good decisions, we can't have good outcomes.
Because every decision has an outcome.
Yes.
And so you have to be responsible for the choices that you make.
Yes.
Period. That's in your life, your personal life especially. So if you with somebody and it ain't working out, you made the choice. You know, it's the same. It's the same.
It's that, but the thing that has always amazed me about you is not your yeses, it's your no's.
Yeah.
You have the ability to know perfect timing to walk away. And I see very few people, because we get in the habit of it and we love it, or our ego is attached to it, or our identity is attached to it, or we think that if I'm not this, who will I be? Mm-hmm. But you are not afraid to walk away and start over again. And I want to talk about not just the courage to start, but the courage to stop.
Thank you for that. Thank you. That's a beautiful question. I've never been asked that question before.
I'm getting like you.
I could feel it. Just like I was spirit led into that show. That show was God's idea for me, because the question to ask is not to tell God what you want. The question is to ask God, what do you want for me?